A massive 7.4 earthquake strikes southern Philippines, killing several people. Nobel Peace Prize goes to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado. And shares in Hong Kong end the week in red, with tech shares leading the drop. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Evelyn Bai. The southern Philippines was rocked by a powerful 7.4 magnitude earthquake, initially triggering a warnings of a destructive tsunami in the island nation, as well as neighboring Indonesia. At least 5 people were killed. Cheryl Yun reports.
Students inside a school in Davao City on Mindanao Island screamed in fear when the quake struck. Some took cover under chairs to protect themselves as parts of the ceiling collapsed and electricity was cut off. Residents scrambled to the streets in panic as the ground shook violently, while others crouched on all fours to brace themselves. The quake struck off the eastern coast of Mindanao Island at a depth of 23 kilometers around 9:43 a.m. Several aftershocks followed. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology initially reported the earthquake's magnitude at 7.6 before revising it down. The tremor damaged buildings, including an international airport in Davao City, prompting passengers to evacuate in panic. Injured victims were rushed to hospitals following the quake. A tsunami warning was initially issued as the US-based Pacific Tsunami Warning Center warned of waves of up to 3 meters above tide level reaching the Philippine coast, with warnings extending to parts of Indonesia and Palau. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has directed government agencies to evacuate residents in coastal areas to higher ground, with search and rescue operations to be carried out when it is safe to do so. The quake struck when the country is still recovering from a deadly quake that rattled the central island of Cebu less than 2 weeks ago, which killed at least 74 people and wounding hundreds more. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado was awarded this year's Nobel Peace Prize for promoting democratic rights. Machado described the medal as an award for the entire movement. Jamie Liu has more.
The Nobel Committee praised Machado for her struggle to achieve a just and peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy.
In the past year, Ms. Machado has been forced to live in hiding. Despite serious threats against her life, she has remained in the country, a choice that has inspired millions. When authoritarians seize power, it is crucial to recognize courageous defenders of freedom who rise and resist.
Machado is a leader of the democracy movement in Venezuela, having served as a member of the National Assembly. Last year, she was the opposition's presidential candidate against incumbent Nicolas Maduro, but his regime blocked her from running. The 58-year-old then switched her support for Edmundo González. Even though the opposition released tallies said to have shown González winning by a wide margin, Maduro insisted he won the election and stepped up his crackdown on dissents. This triggered nationwide protests in Venezuela. González fled to Spain while Machado was forced into hiding. Responding to the question about U.S. President Donald Trump's lobbying effort to win the prize, the Nobel chair said the committee makes its decision in a room filled with both courage and integrity, guided only on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
Back to Hong Kong, a 61-year-old woman died after being struck by a light goods vehicle in Kwun Tong. Police cordoned off the scene for investigation after the accident. The collision occurred at around 3 p.m. near Hong To Road, where the van was traveling along Lei Yip Street and suspected to have failed to brake in time, striking the woman as she was crossing the road. The victim sustained head injuries and was rushed to the United Christian Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. An 8-year-old boy turned himself in at the police station for making false reports about a hail blaze in Taipo trapping 25 teachers and students, with police issuing a verbal warning to him. Police received 4 subsequent calls from a young-sounding boy on Thursday afternoon, claiming a hill fire broke out on the Xingku Feng, the east end of the Peksinland mountain range, stranding 4 teachers and 21 students. However, the line was immediately hung up when the emergency call center asked to speak with a teacher. The cause had prompted a mass rescue operation with firefighters and helicopters of the government flying service dispatched, only to find no signs of fire, smoke, or stranded individuals. Authorities confirmed it was a false alarm, while later that evening, the 8-year-old boy surrendered himself and confessed to making hoax calls. After a preliminary investigation, officers gave the boy a verbal warning before he was allowed to leave. The Immigration Department and the Labor Department launched a joint operation targeting illegal workers, arresting 19 people. Officers from the 2 departments conducted an enforcement operation last week, raiding 133 locations across the city, including restaurants and logistics warehouses. Among the 19 arrestees are 13 illegal workers. 3 employers suspected of hiring illegal workers, and 3 others were charged with aiding, abetting, and deception. The illegal workers included 5 food delivery cyclists from India and Bangladesh, all working with accounts held by 3 Hong Kong residents. The remaining 8 of 13 illegal workers were found engaged in cleaning and dishwashing work. The IMD said in the first 9 months of the year, a total of 956 illegal workers and 443 employers were arrested. Of these, 137 employers have been convicted, with sentences ranging from 45 days to 6 months behind bars and fines varying from $5,000 to $60,000. The department noted that they had received over 100 reports from the dedicated hotline for reporting illegal workers since its launch last month. An ombudsman probe reviewed red tape in applications for publicly funded respite services designed to support overburdened carers. The Social Welfare Department acknowledged shortcomings in the process and urged care homes to streamline applications to better assist those in urgent need. Cheryl Yun reports.
An ombudsman report found that some respite service providers were selectively admitting applicants by requiring additional medical examinations or in-person interviews. Taking to the airwaves, David Ng, Assistant Director of the Social Welfare Department, emphasized that providers are prohibited from requesting extra meetings, home visits, or mandating applicants to pay for additional checkups. However, Ng clarified that providers are not intentionally complicating the process, but may be confusing respite services with long-term hostel stays. He added that providers found to repeatedly violate these rules will receive warnings following initial reminders. Addressing the low utilization rates across districts, Ng explained that respite services are intended as a backup for emergency situations. The department plans to review and adjust the distribution of available slots this month and will remind care homes to regularly update vacancy information. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Japan's Komeito Party will leave the ruling coalition led by the Liberal Democratic Party, casting doubts over the path of LDP's new leader Sanai Takaichi to become the country's next prime minister. After holding talks with Takaichi, Komeito leader Saito Tetsuo announced the end of their 26 years alliance. Komeito pointing to LDP's inadequate answers over demands of a thorough investigation into the political funding scandal and tighter oversight over donations. Takaichi called Komeito's departure as regrettable. This came as the new LDP president awaits a parliament vote on October 15th that she hopes will confirm her as the next prime minister. However, Komeito said it would not back Takaichi in the parliamentary vote expected later this month. Without Komeito's support, Takaichi could still be confirmed, but it will be more challenging for her to pass bills and budgets. The Israeli military said a ceasefire is now in effect in Gaza after its troops pulled back to the lines agreed under the deal with Hamas. Meanwhile, the United States is sending 200 troops to monitor the peace plan's implementation. Jamie Liu reports.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said his cabinet approved the framework for the release of hostages. Also joining the cabinet meeting were negotiators in the ceasefire talks, U.S. President Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner and U.S. Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff. Netanyahu described the approval as a diplomatic success, a national and moral victory of Israel, thanking Trump for his leadership.
We fought during these 2 years to achieve our war aims, and a central one of these war aims is to return the hostages, all of the hostages, the living and the dead. And we're about to achieve that goal.
Citing an Israeli official, the Associated Press reported that after the ceasefire approval, Israeli forces have 24 hours to pull back to an agreed-upon line. After that, hostages held in Gaza are expected to be released within 72 hours, including 20 believed to be alive. Hamas leader Khalil al-Hayya said he had received guarantees from the U.S. and other mediators that the war was over, with Israel expected to release around 2,000 Palestinian detainees, including women and children. Al-Hayya said Hamas and other Palestinian factions will now focus on achieving self-determination and state establishment. Trump expressed confidence in the next phases of the ceasefire deal, but admitted there will be a complicated process to get back all hostages.
We know where most of them are. Actually, the bodies are a bigger problem because some of the bodies are going to be a little bit hard to find.
Joining soldiers from Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates, the U.S. will send about 200 troops to monitor the ceasefire deal, but they will not enter Gaza. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
Hong Kong stocks posted a weekly decline after a 5-day losing run, falling below the 20-day moving average as losses in technology and semiconductor stocks led the retreat. The benchmark Hang Seng Index dropped 462 points, or 1.73% on Friday, extending an early decline of more than 200 points at the market open. Daily market turnover reached $333.7 billion. For the week, it accumulated a loss of 850 points. Technology stocks continue to weigh on the broader market, with Alibaba and Meituan both experiencing 4 straight days of decline, down 4.56% and 1.83% respectively. Xiaomi dropped 2.44%, hitting its lowest level in about a month and a half. In the semiconductor sector, SMIC plummeted by more than 7%, retreating 17% from its record high, while Hua Hong Semiconductor also fell by 4%. International gold prices pulled back, leading to declines of 7% for Zijin Gold International, Zhaojing Mining, and Shannon Gold Mining. OpenAI's short-form artificial intelligence video app Sora hit 1 million downloads less than 5 days after hitting the shelves in late September. Despite restrictions of being only available on iOS devices and being invite-based, which means users need a code to access it, Sora has climbed to the #1 spot in Apple's App Store, taking even less time than ChatGPT, the company's very own popular AI chatbot, to reach the 1 million download milestone. Sora allows users to generate short videos for free by typing in a prompt, which has also sparked intense backlash, mainly around whether the app infringes on copyrights. On to the weather now. Becoming cloudy, 1 or 2 showers in the morning and at night tomorrow. Hot with sunny periods during the day, with temperatures ranging between 27 and 32 degrees. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our news tonight. I'm Evan Bai. Thanks for watching and good night.